different. I am the world changer, coded by the blue storm. My number is 19, the power of all number. I am the master alchemist, the force behind the philosopher's stone. Skilled at the art of transmutation. I am the catalytic transformer of world consciousness and planetary living. I oversee the changes of the weather. I am the thunder that shatters your world systems. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that purifies, spies. It was I who caused the triple Aztec monuments of the Avatar archetype to appear in the ancient temple grounds. I oversee the morning and the evening stars. I behold the creator of the fifth sun, the present world. Sent forth am I to dwell among you, calling forth the single sun. For the great regeneration of the world's soul, to know me is to know your own power of self-generation. To know me is to know your own power of self-generation. Self-generation is power. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that purifies, spies.
All right. In Lakesh Alakin, welcome back to Sync Talk, or Synchronistic Talk. This is going to be an incredible session. And we actually are seeing Instagram is having a little challenge connecting. So what we're going to do here is all right. So we're going to do that. Okay. So 1 second here, everyone. We're going to try this again to get Instagram connected. It's a slight challenge. So just bear with us just a second and we will be fine. There we go. Had to redo some things. All right. Now let's go ahead on Instagram and go live. All right. We live. All right. Okay. So we are live, and it is a pleasure to be here. I am thoroughly excited about today's topic. What we've been doing over the past uh, few moons is we've been talking about the shadow wisdom. And with the shadow wisdom, um, when we follow the Olmec and Mayan cosmology, and we talk about the supernatural and supermental abilities that we can tap into, mainly from extrasensory perception perspective, telepathic perspective, with the archetypes that we learn about in what we call the law of time or Olmec and Mayan cosmology. And what I realize is that we very rarely talk about the we very rarely talk about the shadow aspect of it. Now, the shadow aspect of it is when you're not operating fully in the light of the consciousness. So each of these archetypes that you hear us talk about, it represents a dynamic frequency of light. So here's how it works, right? There are 20 dynamic frequencies of light in the solar system. And each of those dynamic frequencies of light have 13 different variations of that frequency for the purpose of creating things in the cosmos or in the galaxy or on the planet. Okay. And so the beauty of that is that as we begin to become well versed with this, we now put ourselves in a position where we can be extremely effective with being able to tap into these advanced concepts of spirituality while in the human body, in what we call the matrix, or in our jobs, in our entrepreneurship endeavors. Okay. And it is very powerful for us to be able to experience that firsthand. Very powerful. So in lieu of that, today's session is about lacking trust in your inner knowing and how it blocks your evolutionary path. So a lot of times we are looking outside of ourselves. So the illusions of the material world, what they do is they make us think that the power in our experience comes from the things that we acquire. And those are just things that we use to support ourselves on our journey of remembrance. For example, you have people who are millionaires and people who are not. Do they both experience challenges? Yeah. One pulls up in the limousine to handle their problems. The other pull up on a bicycle or something, or maybe walking. But they're not much different. It's just that we have our viewpoint on what these material things represent for us, but it don't mean that you're free of problems. It don't mean that you're not going to have challenges on your path. And sometimes, people actually kind of think that, oh man, if, I get this new car or I get this new house, it's going to make me feel better about myself. But is it going to make you better? Maybe not. In most cases, not, because character is a confidence building exercise. When you're building your character, the challenges help draw out the best in you, right? So it's very important to know that, because we talk about these shadow aspects, and although there's these 20 dynamic frequencies of light, we talk about them as archetypes. There are 13 variations of that dynamic frequency for the purpose of creation, or some people call it materialization and manifestation. All of those manifestations are designed to help you carry out your purpose on earth, to help get you what you need to go further into your consciousness or your memory to access higher states of consciousness so you can be whole again. All right. And it's very powerful. So let's get into the session. I just kind of wanted to share that with you. All right. Synchronicity refers to the underlying, so this is subliminal, cosmic intelligence that brings together people, places, and things, people, places, and events in a meaningful order. We call that the synchronic order. We experience synchronicity when an outer event corresponds with our inner thoughts, perceptions, and feelings. We tend to think that an inner event responds to the outer event. We look at it, in a little different. We look at it flipped, right? Okay, so I must be feeling good if I'm attracting these things in my life. I must be doing good. Well, what I look at is I say, okay, my intentions are for this one thing to happen. And then let's say something else happens that doesn't line up with my intention. I don't fall out on the ground and say, oh man, see it happening again. What I say is, what do I need to change in the inner to reflect that with my intention on the outer? So instead of getting upset with what shows up, get excited about what's showing up, because one, is either the thing you intended, or two, you get to address something inside. And as you address what's inside, now the outside aligns with the inside. And let me tell you, if we just pipe down for a second and not get so emotional about what keeps showing up is a reflection of what's on the inside and shows up for us to address. Okay? So very important there. All right. Who owns your time, owns your mind. Change your time and you can change your mind. Now, what does time mean to us? Time, write this down, is the evolution of consciousness. Whoever thinks, no matter how great they are, let's start at the presidency, Trump and Biden. Do they need to evolve their consciousness? Absolutely. So a position does not put you in a place or a space where you don't need to evolve, right? Because we are shifting from the information age into the telepathic age of our experience. This is why when you change your mind or state of consciousness, we change our world. Are you open to changing your world today? Or do you want the world to stay the same and us just keep going into this feedback loop, Groundhog Day? Because what they say, right? Doing the same thing over and over and over again is what? Insanity. And expecting a different result, right? So I don't expect a different result. I change myself and a new result shows up because of the change I've made internally. We are on the 13th moon. Okay. This cycle started on July 26, 2023. This is when the 13 moon calendar starts based on the law of time and star Sirius. And, in our classes, we get more into that. But it's very powerful. These are the 13 tones of creation. We're on the 13th, the cosmic tone. Okay. And that's what it looks like. Let's just say the prayer to bring us into vibrational alignment, right? From the east, house of light, may wisdom dawn in us so we may see all things in clarity. From the north, house of night, may wisdom ripen in us so we may know all from within. From the west, house of transformation, may wisdom be transformed into right action so we may do what must be done. From the south, house of the eternal sun, may right action reap the harvest so we may enjoy the fruits of planetary being. From above, house of heaven, where star people and ancestors gather, may their blessings come to us now. From below, house of earth, may the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with harmonies to end all war. And from the center, galactic source, which is everywhere at once, may everything be known as the light of mutual love. Ayum Hunaku Eva Maya E Maho. Ayum Unaku Eva Maya E Maho. Ayum Hunaku Eva Maya E Maho. All hail the harmony of mind and nature and all of her kingdoms. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. Bringing things into vibrational alignment is very important to be inspired and to help us magnetize things faster. Inspiration is like an accelerator. The more inspired, the more enthusiasm that you have begins to tell your subconscious mind, we want more of that and we want it faster. Okay? All right. So also, we are in the 13 moon 28-day cycle. The moon has 28-day cycles, not 30 or 29. The mean average is 28 days. Right? And so we're in the year of the overtone wizard of timelessness and supreme receptivity. Check this out. We're in the cosmic turtle moon of endurance. And we're in the first heptad. Hepta means 7. The first 7 days where knowledge initiates the view. So when you get more knowledge, you kind of see things a little bit different. Right? When you change the way you see things, the things you see changes. I think I heard that by Dr. Wayne Dyer some years ago, right? The question that this moon asks is, how do I expand my joy and love? Right? The more you expand it, the more magnetic you make yourself and those you are connected to in this way. This plasma, the plasma is celio. So there's 7 what we call radial plasmas, and they're similar today, but we're talking about them in an energy form. Dali, Celi, Gamma, Kali, Alpha, Limi, Celio is in the 7th position out of 28, and it's connected to the what? The heart chakra, right? And the heart chakra allows us to discharge the mental, electrical, and neutral energy, right? At the core of the earth. And once we do that, we open up the chalice. We open up the speaking tube to receive more wisdom, more memory, more consciousness. Hopefully that makes sense to y'all, right? And so you can see a version. This is what we call a synchronometer because it's synchronizing 3 cycles. You can see 7-3 up here at the top. That's the day we're on the Gregorian calendar. Now, this Gregorian calendar, I want you to know, and this is why I'm doing this, it has no power in terms of the age that we're in. We're now officially in the telepathic age of our experience. So if we're doing information age concepts in the telepathic age, it's like causing us to expire too much energy, and we'll expire instead of inspire. Okay, so you just need to know that. So you want to know what to do to inspire because it's going to be more magnetic for us. Okay. And so when we look at this, we see the 7, that's the celio is the 7th, the 14th, the 21st, and 28th. So 7. And then there's this picture here. This is the glyph for the warrior. And the warrior is also known as the pathfinder. All right. And then these 4 dots in a bar is the solar tone, which is the 9th tone. So when we look at that, the affirmation, right, between the 13 tones and this 16th archetype state, I pulse in order to question. I live to question things, realizing I'm fearless. I seal the output now of the intelligence that I just realized. And with the solar tone of intention, and what guides me is the power of my free will. Now, we say this 3 times to lock it in. I pulse in order to question, realizing fearlessness. I seal the output of intelligence with the solar tone of intention. I am guided by the power of free will. One more time to lock it in. I pulse in order to question, realizing fearlessness. I seal the output of intelligence with the solar tone of intention. I am guided by the power of free will. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. So this is different than saying it's Wednesday, it's hump day. That's a linear term that's programming us to say, hey, I'm glad it's hump day, it's downhill now. But listen, every day is an evolutionary creation cycle. And if we look at it like that, we don't have to wait till hump day. We don't have to wait till Friday to live for the weekend. And we don't have to be mad on Mondays and have heart attacks. Like, people have more strokes and heart attacks on Mondays because they don't want to go do something that they are not fulfilled with doing. Oftentimes, that's a real statistic, right? So this kind of helps us come into vibrational alignment of a greater purpose than what we may see as a job or something like that. Okay, let's look at what it says about the warrior. See, this is 16th archetype. The warrior and the pathfinder are synonymous. Let's see what it says. I am the pathfinder, coded by the yellow warrior. My number is 8 doubled. The high harmonic resonance, right, of 16. I am the pathfinder of the radial matrix. By the power of intelligence, I cut through your illusory world of illusions. Following the signs left by the world changer, the storm, I see ways not yet seen by others. My fearless spirit clears obstacles along the way so that others may follow paths of increasing intelligence. That's a good thing. Wearing the insignia of the fifth sun, I trace the footsteps of the ancient prophet to the temple enclosing the house of the cosmic night. I am the pioneer of the future. All paths do I open to and investigate in the name of cosmic science. Whichever way the path may lead, there will always be another treasury of knowledge to learn anew. To know me is to banish fear and see your true face, which is the face of God in you, bright and clear. And where there's clarity, there's power. Let's go into the topic, because the 16th archetype, the yellow warrior, some of the qualities of this yellow warrior is very intuitive, inner guidance from divine communication. Now, do we always listen to our divine communication? I would say no. There was a time I didn't. I'm really good at it now. When I hear this inner guidance, well, what does it sound like, Neb Teharka? Well, you'll feel it from your heart. You see, because intuition and true love doesn't proceed from the mind. That's your logic and reasoning faculties, right? That can be driven by your will, but also can go off on a tangent through your ego. So we have to be careful. So qualities, intuition. Intuition oftentimes speaks to us at a higher level of consciousness. That's why oftentimes it doesn't make sense or even seem possible what intuition is telling us to do. So we get a hunch. We're like, oh, I got an intuitive hunch that I should do this, but I'm gonna just do what I'm used to, right? And all we're doing is feeding the feedback loop, right? So intuition, the inner guidance and communication that we're getting from divinity, is going to help us be more effective in this body. All right, let's look at the shadow aspect. Here's what happens, right? More times than not, lacking trust in your inner knowing, your ability, right, to act on guidance from spirit, right? So I should say your capability to act on guidance from spirit. And when you're not able to do that, not only do you not trust, but lacking trust also diminishes confidence. And when you can't trust and you're not confident within yourself, then fear and doubt run rampant in your life. Ashe? So we have to fix that. We definitely have to fix that, because this is the key for us to resolve, dissolve, and evolve issues that we keep running into. Well, if they're not your issues, why you keep running into them? You see, so you have to take ownership and responsibility, right? Let's go on to the next stage, right? What's the shadow transformation? Look at what it says. Go within. Within what? Yourself. What is the self? The power of God in you. And look at what it says to do. Establish your divine connection. Now, let me tell you, watch this. Everybody listen. How do you establish a divine connection with yourself? Somebody put that in the chat. How do you do that? Right? How do you do it? What does that look like, Neb Teharka? That's the question I would be asking, because it all sounds good until it's time to do it. Right? Well, I'll tell you, since nobody has really said anything yet, what it looks like is, okay, we say confide in the self, but let me tell you, that's from Moon Goddess Ambrosia. I like that. That's a true thing. That's a true statement, but I'm gonna add something to it. Obedience. Obedience is what you need. When you realize that the divine is speaking to you, right? Intuitive hunches are coming and it don't make sense. This is why in the Bible says, lean not on your own understanding. Lean not on your own understanding. So therefore you have to trust and have faith in the divine. And the way you show faith is obedience, that I'm going to follow this intuition. Now listen, if you ain't willing to be obedient to God or the essence of self, then you're not going to be obedient to a person unless you're forced to. The law forces you to, or what have you. So obedience is how you establish your divine connection. What shows obedience? How you carry out the instructions of the divine. Not just telling your friend, this is what my intuition told me to do. Well, you gonna do it? I don't know. I'm a little nervous. Well, be nervous and do it anyway. What do you got to lose? You already feedback looping through stuff that's undesired. Go within and establish your divine connection through obedience and watch the power of God from in you work in miraculous and mysterious ways that you can't, that's incomprehensible to logic and reasoning. So the shadow transformation is go within and say, hey, I'm going to be obedient to the instructions that I'm shown, this path that I'm shown. I'm going to be obedient to that. And I'm evolved through that. Whether it's this challenge or that challenge, is here for me to remember and put myself back together as something more powerful than the obstacle that's facing me eye to eye and belly button right now. I'm going to overcome this obstacle because I have the power of the divine guiding me. And the rest becomes history. Right? So what do you need to start gaining trust in? Not outside of you, not a better version of the iPhone, right? Or the Google phone, right? Or the Android phone to give you access to something artificial. I'm talking about the inner guidance that gives you the access to absolute truth, the world of the absolute, where everything has already happened. You just yourself throughout the process. Ashe? All right. So questions, if you got some questions, let's get some questions on this. Let's get some questions stirred up. While we're going through the question tomorrow on the 1st of July. On the 1st of July. On the 4th of July, we're going to have our new kin orientation. This is very exciting because we actually, in our new kin orientation, it's a 4-part series. We're on part number 2 now. You can get part 1 by becoming a member and also, going and looking at the replay from last week. But it's done by Moon Goddess Ambrosia. It is phenomenal. Okay, to help you get in tune with the cosmology so you can see an expanded version of yourself. All right, you got to be there. You got to be there because it's too new. We're too new into the telepathic age for you to say, I'll get that. I'll get that later. No, we're gonna get it now, right? Then on Sunday, every Sunday in the dawning, we have what we call Amplify Your Purpose session. So we help you. You're going to get your purpose, your galactic purpose in the new key and orientation. And then now we're going to endure and empower and enlighten and amplify your purpose so that you can be more dynamic in this body on this earth. All right. So that's going to be on Sunday. You don't want to miss it. If you're looking at this for the first time, it definitely can inspire you in ways. Listen, we are building a group of people that are highly intelligent, highly telepathic, and highly successful to usher in the new time. And the things that we have is very much so incorruptible because it's not done with the third dimensional mind. You need to learn about that. Because if something's going to make you more intelligent and help you evolve more effectively and efficiently, then your problems and your issues that's in your tissues don't have a shot. Right? So be there on Sunday. And then Sunday night, this is the big juggernaut. July 7th is kin number 260. Now, remember, I was talking to you about the 260 faces of the creator. That's 20 times 13 is the 20 dynamic frequencies of light and the 13 variations of the different tonalities that bring creation into existence. We call them 13 tones of creation. 13 times 20 is 260. This is a spiritual calendar and cycle that helps us evolve spiritually by accessing our cosmic memory. So you want to be at this. It's going to be a meditation. If you don't have your kin number, reach out to us so that we can give you some information about your kin number. So when you come to the meditation, you're in sync enough with your memory that the frequency that we send out. So by getting all these 260 kin together is assembling the galactic brain, or we call it the 260 faces of the creator. Right, expressions of God, 260 expressions of God, and we're going to express, our intentions through a meditation into the cosmic mind for it to return a spiritual and physical equivalency to give us instructions, inner guidance, individually and collectively for how we need to operate in the new time. So this is a great time to do this. There's some very significant synchronicities that's in place. And we want you all, if this resonates with you, to participate with us. Here are some pertinent dates. So we call them plasmas. All right. Tomorrow is the new kin orientation, 7/7. I just went over. We have the Amplify Your Purpose and the 260 kin online meditation. This is an iconic event. And then we'll have Sync Talk next Wednesday on the 10th again. All right. And then we'll have on the 25th, mark your calendar, save the date. We're going to have a day out of time celebration in Atlanta, Georgia at Cohen Park. And so there's details on our website. And then for those advanced folk, we're going to do an advanced discipline workshop from the 26th to the 28th. Please reach out to me, inquire about these events. They are life-changing events. They are evolutionary events, and you definitely don't want to miss them because we never had anything like this before up until now. Now, I've been doing this 8 years. Okay. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and move forward into the questions. So what questions do you have? I would be having questions about why do I lack trust in my inner knowing? And what effect does that have on me with opportunities, relationships, and my relationship with finances? You see, your inner trust will tell you, don't make that business deal. Don't sign that paperwork. Don't sign it. All right. So we got a kill here. Let's see what a kill is talking about here. He says, how can I act faster with intuition when the action is required immediately? I got a good answer for you. You ready? Brother Kill Ken 38. It's a great question. You just do it. Any hesitation is fear. So fear is what's stopping us. So if you have an intuitive hunch and your intuition gives you instructions to do this now and you wait, are you trusting your inner knowing? No. Right? So when the action is required immediately, by what? It has to be through intuition. It has to be through the divinity that you're hearing it, and not just you feeling, you got a deadline from the artificial matrix that makes you think you got to do something fast and you really got to do it. But if intuition says you need to do this and you need to do it right now, remember, establishing the connection with inner knowing is what? Obedience to what that's telling you. And obedience says move now, you move now. You just do it. Like Nike, you just do it. If you know you feel strong in your heart space now, you just do it. And sometimes it's scary because you don't know what's going to happen. It don't make sense to you. It's blown up in your face before. But that's all based on an artificial paradigm, right? That has some trauma or some bad experiences that's triggering you. So to get over that memory of that, every situation that comes forth is not like that. You have to establish a degree of obedience. All right. Any other questions? So great question, brother Akil. I appreciate that question. All right. Question. Lacking trust in your inner knowing, how does it block your evolutionary path? Well, let me tell you, when you don't trust, let's just say that your intuition tells you to go to a place that you normally don't go, but you just prayed for an opportunity the night before. And it says, go this way to work. No, I never go that way. And it's always a lot of traffic. No, go this way. You go that way. It's a lot of traffic. It's an accident here. You're about to be late for work, right? You think you're about to be late for work. And then all of a sudden you go this way. And it's a huge opportunity that presents itself from you going that way, right? And you're like, oh, man. And just so happens, when you get to work, it's not a problem. You're a few minutes late, but nobody's tripping on it, right? Divinity got you covered. But now you have this new opportunity to present yourself because you were obedient. You went a way that didn't make sense for you to go, but you did it anyway, right? Now you got to make sure it's coming from your heart space, because if it's coming from your mind is very clever, all right? And if it's strategic and cleverness, you don't want that, because that's manipulation, right? And so now you're trying to be slick, with your logic and reasoning behind doing it to benefit you. But divinity kind of shows you a different way. You just kind of get this warm, fuzzy feeling in your chest, and you feel very strongly in this area about an ideal that you have in your mind that you're trying to make sure you should move forward with or not. But it feels so strong that you should. But self-doubt will make us say, let me call somebody and tell them what's going on and, see what they think, because I feel like I should do it, but I'm afraid. Fear and doubt are the twin thieves that blocks your evolutionary path, and that your inner knowing is null and void, because fear and doubt take over your mind and make you think that that's impossible for you to do, and nothing is impossible. Ashe, lacking trust in your inner knowing will block your evolutionary path. And if we're going to be on the evolutionary path, why should we block it? Why should we be the one that knowingly blocks it when we can remove blockages and evolve at a rate that's beyond what this world has seen us as in this body? Ashe? All right. So with that being said, this is great. Trust your inner knowing. Reestablish a connection, right, with the divine. And you do that by listening to your heart, and you do that through obedience. That's where it's a connection. If it's not a connection, if there's no obedience to the inner voice, then the divine or the self cannot connect with you in a way to help you get past the issue that you went to the self for in the first place, that you prayed for in the first place. All right, this takes practice, but it works, right? And proper practice don't make you perfect, but it can make you better. Ashe? All right. So anyone that's listening, if you're new to this, I love to hear from you. You can email me at Neb Teharka at synchronistic.com. I'll put that in the chat. Synchronistichuman.com. Okay. and putting that in there. Email me, email me if you got questions. I love to get emails, especially from new people. If you want to learn more about your kin number, I can do a free consult with you so you understand the significance of it. It's very significant. Okay, it's more than significant than making money. It's more significant than surfing the internet. It's more significant than anything you can think of, because truly evolution is the solution. And the more we evolve, the more we're able to triumph over the obstacles that we face. So we'll be right back here next Wednesday. Thank you for watching. We're finishing up our Shadow Wisdom series. So we have the 10th and the 17th and the 24th, 3 more sessions, and then we're going to move into another phase of our Sync Talk where we're going to have guest speakers on here. It's going to be phenomenal, and we're looking forward to you being able to benefit all of that. All right. So with that being said, in Lakesh, I am another you. Alakim, you are another me. Hotep, Hetepu, and Namaste. And we'll see you on the 260 Galactic Kin Meditation and the Amplify Your Purpose for those of you that can show up. And then we'll see you right back here next Wednesday and on the New Kin Orientation by Moon Goddess Ambrosia. All right. That's it for now. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Peace.